How do you profit from rent to rent? Well, rent to rent is the concept of taking a property on from somebody else, i.e. a landlord that you're renting it from, and then you're re-renting it back out to somebody else for a higher amount of money, and essentially you're making a profit in between. Now, you'll incur some costs in between, and the type of strategies people will use this for is a rent to HMO or rent to serviced accommodation. So rent to HMO is when you're taking a property and you've got multiple people living in the same house, a little bit like a student house. So you've got, say, maybe 4, 5, 6 people now paying rent from that one house, meaning that you're able to make a profit over what you're going to be paying rent to the landlord that you've rented the property from. You'll have some setup costs that you need to think about, so furnishing it, preparing the property and getting it ready. But then you've got operational costs as well. Your operational costs, things like your gas, electric, water, council tax, TV license, cleaners, gardeners, internet, all these things that you've got to be paying for each and every month. So you've got to ensure that the rent you're charging all the tenants in this HMO collectively is going to be more than the rent you're paying the landlord, more to be able to cover all the bills each month and be able to leave you a profit. Now, if I was doing a rent to rent strategy, I'll be looking at a minimum profit at about £500 from a single house, got up to typically about £1,000. When I was first doing this strategy, our minimum line at that time was £1,000 that we wanted to make out of each and every rent to rent that we're doing. The other rent to rent strategy is a rent to serviced accommodation. So what that means is now we're taking a property again on from a landlord where we're renting it from then, but this time, rather than having multiple occupants in and having more people in the building, what we're trying to do is sell a shorter amount of time frame. So essentially we're providing accommodation by a nightly rate or a weekend rate, a little bit like a hotel would. So rather than trying to get more people in the same building, as in with a HMO, what we're doing is trying to get more money for shorter amounts of time for people that are staying in the property. Again, we've got setup costs in preparing the property, furnishing it, getting it ready as well. And again, we'll have operational costs as well, very similar to a HMO, where we're paying all the bills, because the people that are occupying the service accommodation, just as they are in a HMO, are not looking to pay any additional amount over above the fixed amount that's been agreed to pay. So all the running costs are down to you to pay. And again, in terms of profit, you should be making about £500 as the absolute minimum when you're running that strategy, because of all the headache work involved that you've got to do. So it's got to be worth your time and effort. And ideally, again, going up to about £1,000. Now, it could be an apartment building, or it could be a house. For example, it could be a number of different types of properties that we use when we talk about rent to service accommodation. Hey, if you're enjoying these short videos that we're doing called Saj Dailies, then make sure you also check out our longer form content that we have on the channel. There's probably about 300 videos that are on the channel that we've uploaded over the last few years, and there's a lot more content uploaded regularly. And if you're enjoying it, then make sure you click on that like button. Also subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, leave me a comment. Let me know what it is about these videos you're particularly enjoying and particularly liking. And once you've done that, make sure you click on this video, and I'll see you over here